know what? Hey, every once in a while, Mike has to take a pee. There's a funnel behind that. He just pees on the car behind him.
No.
That's fine. Works for me. I've got a little
Why don't you
softie.
start?
I'm not saying anything.
Okay. All right. Hey, I'm Kristine. Welcome to our home away from home. All right. So first off, we've got our small counter. So we're not in this full time. So we just need enough space for us. Mike built me one cutting board and it was so spectacular. I asked him to build a whole van because I believed in him so much.
Oh, you believed in me. I can do everything.
So built this, and then one of my favorite things is these shelves right here. It's actually reclaimed wood from the Hollywood Bowl. So they redid the Hollywood Bowl a couple of years ago, sold off some of the pieces. So we have this and then the pull-out table from the back. And when Mike was cutting these, you could smell what?
Weed and scotch.
It was, you smelled the smells from the concert venue, which was awesome. We did the backsplash here.
We lost the backsplash quarter there.
Oh, I know that fell off, but it is what it is. So we've got some of the backsplash. For us, because he was coaching baseball, playing and coaching, and so for him, he was gone so much. It would be like, 8 months out of the year. And so during the off season, we always just needed something that we did together. And so I felt like this was one of those things. Like he built one cutting board for Mother's Day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Why don't you build a van? Like, I totally believe in you, right?
It's amazing how exponentially far you can jump from building a cutting board into, hey, would you build us a house? You know what I mean?
Well, it's like the van.
And she's like, well, it's wood, right? And I'm like, oh, there's a little more to it. So, and I did. I tried my best, and we ended up watching YouTube and building a lot of the stuff. But the funny thing about having a van, and I said it to somebody, it's like, it's not that you can vacation in it, it gives you the opportunity to vacation in it more. You don't have to plan. We're like, hey, we don't have to be back until like 4 o'clock tomorrow. Let's drive up to the river. And we drive up to the river, we pull over,
take a nap,
make a campfire, take a nap. And when we get back, it's like we've been gone an entire week. And if we were going to go on vacation, it's booking a hotel, it's making sure you have something to eat. We throw food in the fridge. We got salami and cheese and crackers and whatever. We just do our thing, and it just gives us the freedom to
enjoy
do
life.
Whatever. Yeah. But we've seen so many different towns. I mean, I played the minor leagues and coached the minor leagues for a long time, and we've been through so many towns and seen so many different things.
He was always working and playing, so it would be hours where he was in the stadiums and I would be exploring these cities by myself. So this was the first time like we got to explore it together.
But it's cool because people are like, dude, can I see inside your van? You're like, yeah. So we've got she found some wood from the old Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
So it was the bleacher seats, and I guess they were, from what I understood, it was like, so please don't blow up the comments saying the wood wasn't 80 years old. It was like 80-year-old wood, supposedly from Alaskan pine.
It was the original Hollywood Bowl seats.
And they still had all the seats that actually had the numbers on them. Those were already sold as, what's that called? Aftermarket wood, or what do you call it?
The reclaimed.
Reclaimed wood.
Yeah.
And so she ended up buying like some strips
like the
of
last pieces. There were like some last pieces left, and so that's what is on the shelves. And then we have the pull-out table too.
Yeah, we have a picnic table.
The old bleachers from the Hollywood Bowl.
And that's just cool.
Awesome.
And then part of our little wood thing in the back is a branch from the tree that we planted when our first daughter was born, and we just slice a little slice and put the little biscuits or cookies or whatever they call them, on the side of the door. And it's just, it's character. It's just something. But every time we get in the van, it's always like we sit in the van and we're like, it's like just being in a great car. Like, hey, we can actually go have fun.
I think like we're the type we get bored pretty easily with things. But this is the first thing every time we get in, we're like, oh my God, we love this. We love the van. Yeah. Like we love it.
So we've driven cross country. I think this is our 6th path this year, 6 times.
This year.
And we drive it straight. So we go from Atlanta to LA. And I think our record's about 34 to 36 hours. And basically every, I guess, 3.5 hours, it's like a fill up. So I'll tap out if I drove, she'll drive the next leg. I'll take a nap. And then at some point probably once we get past Amarillo, we both kind of hit that wall of 4-hour naps isn't enough. And then we'll pull over at a rest stop. And then just when we lay down, the bed is so comfortable, and we got this nice little comforter, and we would just both go, like,
it's the best sleep. I think we sleep better in here than we do at home.
It is. It is really that good. And 3 hours of sleep in the van is like, it's like getting 7 or 8. Like, I don't know why. I think it's the cold. I think it's the fresh air. Yeah, it's just a new spot. Different. You know, they have all these rest stops in all these different states, and we grew up in California. I was in Northern California, and she was in Southern. And we ended up driving around. We went up to our college and then back down to LA, and we did a bunch of different things. Anyways, we were in the Bay Area, and we're like, hey, there's a rest stop like right near the Golden Gate. And I'm not kidding you. We backed up our van, and out the rear window was the Golden Gate Bridge, like it was a poster. Or it was like a photograph, and it was incredible. And I was like, damn, that's just there. I was like, I wonder what other rest stops you have, you know? And we hit a couple of national parks.
Or in Boston, our daughter's flight got canceled, so we're like, oh, it was Thanksgiving, and so we're like, let's just go to Plymouth Rock. Like, Plymouth Rock is right there.
Plymouth Rock. And then we went to Plymouth Rock, and I was like, wait a second, this is Thanksgiving Day, and it was 1620, and it was 2020. And I was like, it's 400 years. And then it was like, no, it's only $3.99. So we didn't hit the 400-year
anniversary.
And I was like, no one's here for it. I was like, dude, this is something. And I was like, it was just random that we were there on Thanksgiving. And anyways, we saw Plymouth Rock, and it wasn't very big. And I was like, okay. And then, of course, the history gets skewed. And then they're like, no, they actually landed like, 7 bays over. And, there's a guy that's got a pub there. He's got the original. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But
like, what'd you say? Because I felt like when he was traveling for baseball, whatever level, you would always be at hotels, and I would think that experience would have been nicer. But I truly enjoy this so much more. Like just hanging out in the van, being able to pull over, being able to go to spots. Yeah.
And really, we haven't added anything in probably 2 years.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, let's get an iPad mount. And then we did get the Starlink or whatever, so we could get satellite service. We can watch movies or whatever. But we haven't really added anything to it because it's like,
or we've been busy
if we keep no, but if we bog it down with stuff, it's like now it's clutter. And the whole point of this is to kind of get away from just everything. Yeah, it is. It's just what it is, but it's fun and a lot of people aren't cut out for it. A lot of my friends are like, dude, how do you do that? They're stopping after a 4-hour trip and getting a hotel. And I'm like, 4 hours? I was like, man, I'm like, we're talking 4 states.
Yeah.
But getting back to the driving across country, I mean, you hit Texas, and that's why we don't go the south route through Texas, because it is a day and a half. It just is so long. And if we take 40 across, we hit Texas, and then we just start hitting small states. And so you see a state every couple hours, and you're like, all right, we're doing some work. But you get out past the Mississippi, and the states get really big, and it's, I think it drags a little bit more going west than it does going back east.
Close-ups. However, we call this the Schwein rack because we weren't sure if it was going to be used for shoes or wine, so we call it the Schwein rack, and it's really...
We made little bottleneck holders down here in case we had bottles of wine in there, but it holds mostly shoes.
Yeah, that's a mess, but it's fun. Here we have some little things that Mike 3D printed, so he puts his fishing poles typically through that, which is awesome. Let's see. We got some shelves, the obligatory Buc-ee's pillow, because Buc-ee's is awesome. This I love. This we found some horseshoes at an antique shop, and then we also found some whiskey barrel pieces. And so I asked Mike to glue them together, and he did that. And then we have some shiplap up here. I love this. I took one purse making class out in Silver Lake, and so then after that, we got more comfortable with leather and such. And so we did the leather with the grommets on the back just to make the back feel a little bit more like the rest of the van. Let's see. We don't have quite as much up here just because we're not really in it full time. What else, Mike?
Bottle opener
The obligatory.
with the breathalyzer, so we know if we have to sleep it off.
That's right.
And then we got our own little cabinets, but she's not going to open hers.
Yeah, our cabinets.
Hers is a stuffy cabinet.
The overhead. Like, I don't know if you go from underneath.
Oh, up here?
But down from under here. So this, we added the overhead, and this was probably the most challenging piece of the van build. And we had a piece of plywood, and I was like, I think we can add, a little bit of decor underneath here. And, we were tired. We've been building a lot. And he's like, nah, let's just leave it plain. So he went to sleep, and it was the first time I actually used the saw. And so I'm like, you know what? I think I watched him enough. I'm gonna go for it. And so cut the pieces at the angle and glued them on, and it surprised you, right?
It really did. She actually did a pretty good job. And then I had to really finish just trying to be able to fit that in there. And if you look, and I'm gonna show you. So this is where we had to put it in and take it out. If you could see all those scratch marks, like trying to fit it and cut it out perfectly, we just scratched the heck out of that. So
but
it wasn't a perfect build, but after about 20 put-ins and takeouts, we got it to where we wanted to.
We have little cubbies for like the Splenda, the lighter, the cards, and then this was maybe other people. Everyone feels younger than we think we are, but yeah. I feel like it's just kept us like at a really, we feel like we're 19 still, because that's when we met, and we're obviously not. When but don't you feel like that?
There's two things that I just laugh at, and one was somebody, I was trying to buy a Jeep back in 2015, and the guy's like, hey, I don't like selling anything on Craigslist, I don't trust it. I said, hey man, I get it. I said, but I'm working in town, you can look me up on the internet, so you can track me down. And I showed him my picture from when I played, and he goes, wow, time hasn't been good to you. And I was in the bank, and I just started laughing like, damn, am I that beat up? And I said, maybe I'm that beat up. And then I was at Verizon store a couple of weeks ago, and this guy the kid that was helping me was talking about his coach that played baseball and this and that. And I said, oh, wow. And he goes, yeah, he played for the Dodgers. And he didn't have a lot of information. I think his name was this. And I said, yeah, that's about the same time I played. And he goes, yeah, he played in the 1900s. And I was like, dude, I said, you can't tell people 1900s. Like, it means something different.
Like 1910.
And he goes, like 1990s.
Yeah.
And I said, that's the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the 1900s.
Way back in the 1900s.
And I felt bad because the kid kind of got embarrassed. But I said, no, did you tell somebody in the 1900s? They're talking about, covered wagons and.
Like, do you know Yogi Berra and Babe Ruth?
Yeah, like, it was funny. Anyhow, those are the two stories that I'm just like, all right, brother, I'm older than I think, but no, it's good. It's good. We love it. It's, like we literally have driven across country so many times. And if we're home, in California or out east, we might be there 10 days, and then we're like, hey, we gotta get back, and it's not. We just drive it again. It literally is no big deal. And it's it's long and whatever, but like, man, when we go through New Mexico, we get the green chili burritos, and there's places that we get some food. We went through Louisiana, but we went through it the wrong time, and it would have been a perfect
like crawfish etouffee. Like
yeah,
I'll map my food.
Yeah, and she was sitting there. She said, we get crawfish etouffee, and I said okay, and she goes, how far is Shreveport? And I was like, it's this far. And I was like, dude, we're gonna be there like 5 a.m.
Yeah,
I don't know if we can get like breakfast crawfish etouffee, but etouffee.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we just don't sync it up, then we don't get our green chili burritos. If we're not going through at the right time. So, but we can get a breakfast burrito.
But what too is I feel like driving around makes me helps me to understand people's perspectives a lot more, just because, you know, because someone thinks a certain way, but when you get to see the town, you kind of have more of an understanding of maybe their viewpoint in life, you know, because this is the norm, this is the everyday that they're facing, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we go through a lot of small towns, and I'm just thinking, those people might have had that house, you know, 4 generations, and you know, the biggest store is like a Dollar General or something like that. And I can't imagine going to a big city and, you know, seeing skyscrapers with,
Yeah.
you know, unlimited things. Like it's
Like I would hate us too, right? Like,
yeah, yeah. We're always like, hey, what's up? And
Yeah.
people just usually people are nice as heck.
People are so friendly.
They are, and so we'll sit down. Where are you guys from? And you know, we just tell them our story, and you know, we end up having a beer with them. It's cool. I like short-term relationships with new people. You know, that's my thing. Right? Like, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Okay, that was a 2-hour relationship. I loved it. We ended up on a positive note. We're still friends. I'll never see him again. That's put one
We
in
hope
the
we
positive.
see you guys again.
Yeah, put one in the positive column. But
So
no,
this, I wanted to have something magnetized, and I saw this rusted metal, and the original person who I saw make it, they were out of it, and so I was looking up on Home Depot how to rust the metal, and then on the side of the road, lo and behold, I found a piece of rusted metal. So on my way to Home Depot, it worked. So we
made this out of road trash.
threw it in the back of the van, and it was as is. It was great. We cut these from our front yard.
Yeah.
And then this, where did we get this piece of wood? Do you remember?
It was at one of the.
We pick it up along the way. No,
Cornell?
we pick up random pieces of wood
Yeah.
and just turn it into stuff, which is great. So this is our little
We
coffee
grew up in
holder.
Northern California, so we always had like redwoods and all the really cool trees. Those tables were like really, really awesome. I don't know that we're gonna even able to bring out the.
It's a mess back here because we just came
we just
from
came
a
from a
from an
convention.
event, from a conference. Will this pull out, Mike? Will you move
I
that
think
thing?
it will.
So this is the picnic table. That's the picnic table, and that's the wood from the Hollywood Bowl. So you could see where the seats were connected and the different bolts, but we love it because you can sit on it, scratch it up, picnic on it, stand
She
on
puts her
it.
TRX bands up there and does like workouts and stuff, and it just looks silly.
Then Mike, will you pull that out? Oh, I love the obligatory van spice rack. A woman in Maine from Nice Spice, Gneiss. She had those, and since Mike coached in Maine, I just thought I really wanted to support that. Then will you pull that out?
Is it up or down?
Down. So this, Mike built the herringbone, which is I love. And then after it became a little too tall for me, I couldn't see when the water was boiling. Here, just pull this piece out. This was the scrap. So
Yeah,
this
it was
just cut.
it was the strip that was off of that.
And it was just so beautiful. I didn't want to waste it. And so we just made that out of the scraps, which.
A lot of motivation from Ron Swanson.
But yeah, it's been fun just figuring things out. And it really is a mess back here because of, like, we're going from different conferences and truly living in it. So
I was just
traveling.
thinking, we pulled over on our way to Waco, and I'm like, I'm exhausted. She's like, I can't even keep my eyes open. So we finally, you know, settled up, and we usually find like a truck stop or a gas station. We pull over and we try to find, you know, dark lights. It's all shaded in here, but it's nice when it's like pitch black. And like we laid down and then we set our final size, like yeah, this is it. And it wasn't 20 minutes, and I was like, "You awake?" And she goes, "Wide awake." And I was like, "All right, let's get going." Like, I don't know if we just needed like a reset or whatever,
Yeah.
but we just started laughing, and it's like, no, let's keep going.
Or
And-
we've even done like St. Patrick's Day. If we went to a restaurant or a bar for St. Patrick's Day, Like we would just sleep it off in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Oh
In our
yeah, yeah. If there's one thing I want to add, it's a breathalyzer, and just go back there and go. That looks like about a 2-hour nap.
Yeah, we're ready. Let's
Yeah,
go.
but it's great. Like, there's no reason to, make a bad decision about drinking and driving. Like we just hopping back and
Take a nap.
sleep it off.
Yeah. And
Very good.
So I guess
I hear what you're saying. Life
Yeah.
sucks.
like
Yeah, it's called life. What was it? Whiplash with what's his name?
Miles Teller.
Miles Teller. So he was sitting there and he was just saying, "Hey, my music teacher's like, pretty much punching me in the face, and I suck, and I can't even play, and I just lost my girlfriend, and my phone got disconnected." And the dad's like, "Oh, sounds like life happened to you." And I think that's such a great story, or a great phrase, is life did happen to you. Like, guess what? Like, one of the tires is already bald on my freaking trailer, and I've only driven it, 1,000 miles. But that's life, right?
Right.
You
You
go and
fix
get
it
a
and
new
you
one.
move on.
You just got to
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to say in an interview, but like that shit's frustrating. That's the stuff that just, you get so many life experiences happening to you in a row. That's not like, a win, a victory, and it's just a beatdown.
But then it prepares you for the next thing that you didn't even expect.
yeah, it's like you
To
can't
happen.
get better at it unless you like.
Yes.
No, you got to suck.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
that?
I was going to come up with a t-shirt, my first genius idea. You can't spell success without suck. Like you're going to fail a lot. That's it.
Yeah, what else?
Oh yeah, we got the shoe horses in there.
Oh, the top.
Yeah.
Okay. We also got the upper deck that Mike built. Will you close that up, Mike?
Why don't you go up there and have like one of those 70s?
What's this?
Yay! We
Okay.
actually just broke that off. You can go.
Okay. I'm wearing like shoes that aren't conducive to climbing.
Well, at least
Sure, those look like Himalayan hiking.
she got that from a Sherpa.
So then Mike also built this upper deck up here, which is great. We actually used to use this when our son was playing baseball games, if we wanted to sit in the outfield and, not be too squished in the stands. So we would just sit up here and watch them play in the outfield, and it was awesome. So
I actually built that because she wanted to watch sunsets, and right now this is the first sunset we've ever watched. On top of that, and it almost cost me my middle finger. I literally I was trying to cut the aluminum, which was not smart, and split my finger, and it was awful. But she has a sunset watching deck / thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You see things you just wish people would do, people that you know, or like advice.
Know as much. Okay, no, I'm just gonna throw a freaking Pink Floyd quote. All that you touch and all that you see is all your life will ever be. That's it. Like, go see a ton of different things. Go meet a ton of different people, because it's what makes you, like what you end up being. Your experiences that you had with those 10 people and those 50 people over there is totally different than somebody that was right next to you and had the experience with 5 people and 4 people over there. That your life is now completely independent of everybody else, and your experiences, good or bad, are yours.
Yeah, and don't keep comparing yourself to other people, like you are where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's it.
And we're still trying to figure it out, so don't think that we have all the answers, because we don't.